Welcome to the Mayor Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post. My name is Drew Larison. This is MTM. This show is partnered with Robert Miller and Son. Mm-hmm. And, we were talking about tax refunds.
Yes.
And, we all get excited when those hit our mailbox. And then we're all very excited for it. And then if there's one thing Americans are good at, it is spending those tax refunds.
Absolutely.
They get spent real quick. They can disappear fast, or if you're smart about it, it can completely change your home.
That it can.
Robert Miller and Son and their tax time savings event is happening right now. And the more you upgrade, the more you save. You start off at 25% across the store. It's a good place to start, right? And then you spend $2,500 or more and you save 30%. If you spend $5,000 or more, and then you're saving 35%. So if you've been talking about maybe replacing that worn out sofa, finishing that bedroom, or maybe finally doing the whole room just right, this is where it makes sense.
Could be the time.
Go visit our friends over at Robert Miller and Son for their tax time savings event happening right now. Save up to 35% store-wide if you spend over $5,000 total. Thank you for Robert Miller and Son being the partner for this show. Truly appreciate it. Mr. Mayor, how was your weekend?
It was great.
Let's get caught up here. Yeah.
Yep. Snuck away up to Chicago to visit my son. Hadn't seen him in a little bit. And so went up to hang out in the Windy City. And it was beautiful on Saturday and then 40 degrees colder on Sunday. I thought Indiana had crazy weather, but we're close enough, I guess, that Chicago was the same way. But still, good time to get away and visit with him. So it was nice.
Yeah, we were riding bikes, taking walks.
Oh my gosh.
This weekend, even yesterday afternoon, and it was a 40-degree swing between yesterday afternoon and this morning. 12 hours. We swung 40 degrees here in Kokomo, Indiana. Wild times. All I ask for is consistency.
Right.
That's all I want. If
Indiana
you're going to be
weather
cold,
isn't going to give it to you.
Be cold. If you're going to be nice and warm, do that as well. So, awesome. What is going on at City Hall this week?
Getting things ready for spring. We're still waiting for the asphalt plant to open up, but still finalizing pavement schedules and such. And so nothing definite on that. Some major ones, though. As soon as it's up and running, we'll get North Washington done and Southway Boulevard and hopefully get some striping down on Alto out between Park and Webster, because I know that was done at the end of last year, so still working on that. Getting the parks spruced up. I know a lot of people, and I think there's even some questions in there about the tennis nets as well as pickleball nets. So getting that. Had a little minor mishap with the light pole at Studebaker Park, and our good friends at Duke Energy are working around their schedules because they've got some inclement weather cleanup in other areas as well. That's taken some of their time away, but hopefully they'll get that taken care of because that blew down, I think, last weekend, not this most recent last weekend, the weekend before. So appreciate folks' patience with that as well, but just continuing to plan for the spring and summer.
Absolutely.
It's going to be fun.
Very cool. Yeah. Spring and summer is always a good time here in Kokomo. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
I've been seeing some summer concert series, sneak peek, kind of people are getting excited for what that's going to look like this summer in Kokomo. Lots of live music and just in general in this town.
Release their themes for the first Fridays.
I love that. Very cool. Any specific theme you're excited for?
Not really. I mean, I'm looking forward to the first Friday that's going to be on the first Saturday, which is the 4th of July, the big 250th. It's going to be a day-long deal, so that should be fun. Culminating in a home Creek Chubs game that night with over-the-top fireworks from the stadium.
Well, there was a Creek Chubs announcement.
Yes.
We have a name for the mascot.
We have a name for the mascot. Hooks.
Great name for a fish mascot. Yeah. Hook the Chub. Love it. All right. Yes, so let's get into the questions we have today. But before we do that, before we jump into that Ask the Mayor segment,
friends at Blue Fox.
Thank our partners over at Blue Fox HVAC. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, I'm Brian with Blue Fox Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. We're a locally owned, family-run HVAC and plumbing company built by 3 families who believe quality work and great customer service matter most. Since 2018, we've taken care of homes and businesses in our community with routine maintenance, repairs, new system installs, and emergency service work 24/7, 365. What sets Blue Fox apart is our skilled technicians, clear communication, creative solutions, and preventative maintenance programs designed to catch problems early and save you money. With over 900 verified Google reviews, our quality speaks for itself. When you need heating, cooling, or plumbing you can trust, call 765-233-6846 or visit bluefoxhvac.com. Blue Fox Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Elevated comfort, expertly delivered.
Oh, yeah, we are back. Awesome. Oh, no. Oh, did I cut it early? No, we're good.
Yeah, you're good.
Sorry, guys, I'm all over the place today. It's been a Monday.
The delay between
the delay. I've been all over the place. First day back in the office in a while, and we're doing
It's all right.
Awesome.
You're making it happen.
Thank you for that, Blue Fox HVAC. If you have any questions for the mayor, and this may be your first time watching the show,
welcome.
Leave it in. Yeah, welcome to the show. We appreciate you being here.
Chat.
Leave your questions in the chat. You can see we've got quite a few people watching already, and a few people leaving those comments in there. So if you have a question for the mayor, leave it in the chat. That's why I have my laptop in front of me. I will pull it over to my notes, and we will go from there. And you can hear your question being live, asked live on the air. We do have a lot of pre-show questions. That's what we call them today. It's where people that have commented on our Facebook page or in other means of communication that we've call for questions on Mondays. We'll go through all of those first, and then we will go into the live show questions. So the first question we have today is from Christina on Facebook. Sadly, there are 10 plus mature trees marked with red X's in the UCT Park and neighborhood area. Are all of those trees coming down? If so, does the city plan to replace those trees? Christina on Facebook.
Yes, so unfortunately those trees and some towards Foster Park are in the path of that north side interceptor plans of the major project to finally close out the long-range control plan that's been EPA mandated for a little over 20 years now, and so it's finally coming. So because it's going along Wildcat, across UCT, down into Foster Park, a handful of trees are in its path and unfortunately going to come down. But yes, we plan on replacing them, maybe not in those areas. I know there's a certain percentage that will require that when we take them down in parks and areas we need to replace. So they will be replaced, some in those areas, but others in some of our other parks or other public spaces.
Got it. Next question is from Anderson on Facebook. In 2022, it was reported that the Star Plus energy battery plants in Kokomo would create approximately 1,400 jobs per facility, totaling around 2,800 jobs, with full production projected in 2027. As of March 23rd, 2026, how many of those positions are currently held by residents of Kokomo specifically? Additionally, of the reported $3.2 billion in combined state and local support for this project, what measurable return on investment has Kokomo seen in terms of direct employment for local residents, including temporary workers or employees relocated from the outside this area, including international staff? That's a lot of data.
So not sure because the city isn't a partner in the partnership that is Star Plus Energy. I know, yes, that they had hoped because everything had transpired at the end of the Biden administration, and there was a big push for EV manufacturing, and all the automotive manufacturers had plans in place for 2030 and such. And then there was a change from the Biden administration to Trump administration. Trump administration backed off on EVs, and so that kind of slow rolled the production of those. So they're probably, obviously the second battery plant isn't constructed yet, but it's every indication that they've given to us is that they still plan on doing so. But fortunately, Samsung SDI was a part of that partnership because although there was a slowdown on EV manufacturing or the batteries to support those, they've shifted gears and are retooling those lines to start doing other battery supply products for Samsung. So as to how many of the current employees are Kokomo residents, don't know. I'd have to check with Star Plus. I mean, yes, they would hope to have been ramped up by then, but again, the change in the administration and such. But as for the return on investment, the local government, we didn't give. We received some Ready Initiative funds from the state, so funds from the state's ARPA funds back during COVID. We received a few $1 million of those to go towards the infrastructure, so roads, sanitation, and such out to there. A lot of the other incentives came from the state and federal government. It looks at employee retention, or not creation and retention, as well as the metrics, whatever they have worked out with both state and federal government. I think they've obviously taken into consideration the shift in focus on EVs. So those arrangements or those accountabilities with them is based on employment, as is ours. But again, locally, we gave tax abatements, but the money that the city put towards that was mainly from state ARPA funds that we received through the READY initiative.
Okay. Chester on Facebook has two questions for you today.
Okay.
Can the mayor do something about the giant mutant bats that are plaguing our fair city? That was his first
if we
one.
can identify those, if he's got areas where they may be lingering,
Mutant.
we could find, but I've not seen any. But we'll be on the lookout for them.
Okay. Second question. These might be connected.
Okay.
Can we get edibles as good as the ones from Michigan?
Right now, I think only from Michigan.
Okay. See how those might be connected?
Sorry, I can see where these could be connected.
Next question is from Rick. I would like to ask him why he is so confident in his build it and they will come idea for the unwanted annexation. He has been present and sees the community's concerns for this annexation and rezoning, yet feels his opinion is above his constituency. Why? We just saw the Indianapolis approve a data center for the fact that it is zoned for it. Mm-hmm. This is exactly the fears of Howard County residents. When you ignore your constituents and are at the very least vague about what land will be used for, this causes loss of faith in our elected officials and bends their ear towards the thoughts of corruption and payoffs. Rick on Facebook.
Well, I'm going to stay cautiously optimistic that if we create an area that can be used as a dedicated industrial park, that they will come, that there will be interest. I know Ms. Dukes, who's the executive director for the Greater Kokomo Economic Development Alliance, brought a few examples either to the last meeting or meeting before where site selectors had looked for hundreds of acres that was already zoned that Kokomo and Howard County couldn't compete for. Because it just wasn't available. I mean, so knowing that there's interest in Indiana because of the business climate, because there's interest in Kokomo and Howard County because of all that's been going on, again, going to remain optimistic that there will be those opportunities, and it's just for that to hopefully bring additional investment and diversity to the economy. We love our automotive industry. It's been a great partner for over almost 100 years now. It's employed hundreds and thousands of people and generations of families and such, but not everybody's into the automotive industry. And so a lot that look for opportunities outside of that don't stick around here. And so hopefully that will provide some possibility for that. And not to think that my opinion's any better than any of the constituents. I mean, yes, a lot of the folks that come to these recent city council meetings, and even the planning commission, are opposed to a data center. I mean, a lot of them are saying, hey, we're not opposed to growth. We just don't want a data center. We need to be responsible. I mean, so that's what we're trying to do and that we will continue to do. But there's also a handful that haven't come to the meetings, that have stopped, not just myself, but council members on the street saying, hey, we get it. Kokomo needs to grow. We need these opportunities and such. I mean, so not everybody that we represent, which we represent around 60,000 folks, are opposed to this type of annexation and growth. I mean, especially if the property owners are asked to be annexed into the city and rezoned for those opportunities.
Got it. Mm-hmm. Next question is from Carolyn on Facebook. Okay. Will you give us your reasoning for support of this annexation and rezoning when it's a proven fact how damaging it can and will be, and how it will not create the amount of jobs we are told it will? And will you ask the Kokomo Common Council to explain their yes votes if they vote yes? Do you agree that elected positions are meant to represent your constituents, the people, not big business, and that all elected people work for us, the people? Carolyn on Facebook.
I think I just answered that on the last one.
You sure did.
And really with that, we don't know. I mean, to say that we're doing this annexation and rezoning because of the negative effects, we don't. I mean, there's not been a development plan brought to the city administration, to the planning commission. There's no company that has been made. I mean, so we don't know. I mean, and even if a data center is part of that, there's a 31 bypass running through the middle of that. I mean, there's different sizes of data centers. I mean, so one that ends up on either side of 31 is going to be much, much smaller than some of these mega ones that are going. I mean, but to say that this annexation and rezoning is going to create terrible and negative impacts on the environment at this point is, I think, getting ahead of ourselves, because there's not anything that's been planned or proposed that we're aware of to show what effects, if any, there may be on it. So,
okay. Tammy on Facebook, according to the comprehensive plan that was revised in 2017 and available to view online, it states that land uses patterns have a considerable impact on the health and prosperity of the entire Kokomo community, and that this plan pay particular attention to the services and amenities that impact the lives of residents the most. The first objective under land use states prevent single-family residential and industrial land users locating next to or in close proximity to one another. Additionally, the future land uses maps included within the comprehensive plan does not include the proposed and annexed property, nor does the land use map includes any mention of high intensity industrial or only high tech / light industrial. Please explain why the city is contradicting its own comprehensive plan with the proposed annexation and rezoning that will be voted on this evening. Tammy on Facebook.
Well, I think the common phrase that folks have typically heard is, the best laid plans. I mean, you can plan for something, and those plans change. I mean, this was done 10 years ago. This was before a pandemic. This was before Kokomo had a major battery plant created. It was planned before a lot of things. And so, I mean, yes, there were thoughts, there were hopes. It was kind of a wish list or an expectation, something to shoot for. When people ask elected officials, what's your vision for the city? I mean, you can say, okay, I expect us to see this and do this and this, but that doesn't always come to fruition. I mean, I don't think, again, even when I came into office in 2020, and somebody said, what's your vision? I mean, part of it was, we need to have a dedicated industrial park, to try and lure additional diversity. And so immediately we made arrangements, started purchasing farm ground from a landowner, annexed it, rezoned it. There, with no specific development plan in place, it just happened that the battery plant landed on it. That was part of what we had hoped for. So it's not that what we're doing now contradicts that. It's just things change. I mean, look at anyone's personal plans, either for their family or for their careers and such. And I know I'll probably get criticized for this as well, because I use this somewhat similar analogy, by folks choosing to build a home as opposed to buying an existing one, because what's existing, already built and planned, doesn't fit their needs and means and such. It's the same way. I mean, we can say, I plan on following this career path or doing this with our family or this with our finances, and things happen, circumstances change, and so that's just it. It was a comprehensive plan based on the existing situation and conditions then, and hopes for a direction for the city. So we're not contradicting that per se, outside of just getting ready to rewrite the next comprehensive plan for the next 10 years, not knowing what that would look like as well. So,
okay. 1 second. Let's go up here. Amy on Facebook.
Hey.
Why doesn't code enforcement and the Planning Commission enforce building permits? We have a neighbor who has been self-building his house for almost 7 years now. If that wasn't bad enough, there is construction stuff and junk all in their front and side yards. We have talked to the city attorney, the Planning Commission, the code enforcement. We've been talking to them for almost 5 years. They keep saying they're going to do something about it, but nothing has happened. It is decreasing our property values with this mess. Amy on Facebook.
Yeah, and I think she's written in before. At it sounds like the next step would be some type of legal battle. I mean, we've worked with the Planning Commission as well as the city attorney has tried to work with the homeowners, and they've given circumstances that are somewhat out of their control and such. I mean, so they do try to enforce building permits. It's just some situations, they work with the homeowners. Yes, this has gone on a lot longer than it needs to, so next would just probably need to be some type of legal action.
Okay. Let me see here 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get caught up.
No problem.
Questions coming in.
You're doing it.
Next question is from Paula on Facebook. Why does Kokomo, probably similar topic here.
Okay.
Why does Kokomo not enforce junk properties or basically clean up Kokomo? Who will clean up Vale Avenue where the old Cuno press buildings?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how that pronounces? Quino?
Cuno. Yeah.
Press buildings, siding and insulation was blown off recently. What about State Street? A home along there has junk all over their yard. It looks like a junkyard rather than a home. Again, why can't you at least have people go into the woods along Plate Street and clean up the woods? Because trash is blown over all over those woods, including people dumping old bathtubs in the woods. And at one point, a meth lab was found in those woods. Kids go in there to play. I guess when a kid gets hurt or stuck with a used needle, then maybe the parents will sue the owner of the property. Our city looks trashy anymore. I've even seen used needles in this area at times. I actually paid someone to pick that trash up, but that isn't my responsibility. I remember someone who came to my home once suggested to use those in the jail to clean this up. Why can't that happen? Let's take pride in Kokomo and get the trash off the street. Paula on Facebook.
You got it. Yeah. Call code enforcement when you see things. A lot of situations, contacts are made to the property owners. Legally, they're given so much time to rectify the situation, and fortunately, they do many times clean it up, but then unfortunately, it reverts right back. I mean, so a lot of times may not even notice the time frame that lapse when something is cleaned up and then resorts back. So there are a lot of properties that code enforcement does make it out to on an unfortunate regular basis, but just continue to report them. If there's areas, in the trees along railroad tracks, those are typically still owned by the railroad company. We do what we can to get back in there, but a lot of times can't do cleanup of brush and such without the railroad's permission with that. But with trash and everything, especially as windy as things get, and folks with now that we have curbside recycling and such, then things blow out and collect. Feel free to let us know. We can see what event or actions can be taken or planned in order to do that. We have used the cleanup crew through the jail, the inmates crew from time to time. Just used them recently down on the banks along the Wildcat, starting to clean some of that up. Our Mayor's Youth Council is going to start 2 Saturdays a month cleanup initiatives for folks to come out and join us for those in various park areas and such. And so just keep reporting them. We'll do what we can to get to it.
Okay. Kathy on Facebook, with the attendance at capacity for commissioners meetings concerning the annexation/rezoning of North Farm Ground, why isn't the meeting moved to accommodate everyone who wants to attend and or speak? Are you afraid that it will show the majority of people in Kokomo are against doing this at this time? Kathy on Facebook.
Well, one correction, she mentioned commissioners. It's not the commissioners meeting. Commissioners are the county government, the 3 Howard County Board of Commissioners. It's the Common Council tonight, and the council chambers are that. It's where they meet. I know they received a lot of criticism by moving the dates to accommodate those that were going to be gone with spring break, and because they moved in the wrong direction. Even a private meeting that was held or was scheduled at a church that then got moved to a larger venue received a lot of criticism yes, anytime you try to change the venue or change something, you're criticized. I don't think not doing so deters anyone. If anybody shows up and wants to speak, they may have to stand outside City Hall and get called back in if they're at capacity. But the last 2 meetings have not been at capacity, so everybody that comes, has been either been in the chambers or out in the lobby area, and can still, wherever they're witnessing the meeting, can still sign up to speak. So nobody's preventing them from that. I think it's just to stay as consistent as possible to give everybody the chance to see and hear.
Yeah, I feel like if you moved that, people wouldn't get that memo, and then they'd be mad it moved and nobody told them. Can't make everybody happy at all times. Thomas on Facebook, no one has been willing to answer this. Okay. Republicans are pro-property rights, correct? How can you stand by and watch, even advocate for a super voluntary annexation, which is an absolute lie? Indiana Code 364351, the super voluntary annexation law that you are imagining applies, states that all homes within the area must request the annexation. You are literally advocating for a home to be surrounded on all 4 sides by an industrial park, and you are calling it super voluntary. How do you reconcile that with your party platform that says that the property rights are a fundamental liberty, a homeowner that we hear has a do not contact order in place for you, and Kokomo city government and a certain local realtor? That was a lot. It is the job of the mayor to represent and protect the people, literally the only function of government. How do you feel about the fact that you are pushing through this project for your friends will be the legacy that you leave that ends your mayorship? We urge you to protect Kokomo and stop selling out. Thomas Sharp on Facebook.
Not selling out, and obviously it is super voluntary. I mean, everybody that has requested to be annexed in is part of that case. I mean, yes, there are 3 properties, I think, that are cookie cutted out, but those folks don't want annexed in, and so we're not forcing them. And we could draw the lines and forcibly make them involuntary annex in, but we're not. We're acknowledging and respecting their property rights to not be annexed into the city. I mean, yes, they're going to be surrounded by other areas that could potentially have that development. There may be buffers, because we can, as companies come in and want to be developed, we can impose, distance from residents. We can put landscaping and barriers, in place as well to help deter any thing that would be inconvenient or not pleasing to them. But to say that we're not honoring property rights or that we're bringing others, I mean, those are the reasons those folks are not part of this annexation, is because they didn't ask to be brought in. They weren't drawn in. They're not being involuntarily annexed, even though it's all around them. I mean, there were holes in the city of Kokomo prior to 2012 where there's areas that they annexed and didn't leave out before the 2012 involuntary annexation going east and west of many areas. But we're not heading down that path now, and there are a lot of manufacturing and high intensity facilities and factories just as close, if not closer, to residential areas within the city already. Just again, this is voluntary because those are actually, this has not been initiated by the city. It's not drawn out by the city. It's simply accommodating requests.
Thomas had another question. Do you know what will happen if we overdraw the Howard County watershed? The arsenic plume underneath the North Delco site is currently considered stable. If we overdraw the watershed that is currently in a drought, it will become unstable and release additional arsenic into our water supply, poisoning everyone in the area. Do you care? Thomas on Facebook.
I absolutely care. And a lot of the water that will be provided to any area in Kokomo, not just this annexed area, would come from Indiana American Water. And so I would think Indiana American Water will also take that into consideration, and we would work with them and impose on them that any resources that need to come to that area for whatever development comes, that they would draw from sources that would not adversely impact anything in Kokomo or Howard County, which means they may have to draw from elsewhere, like they've had to do and other water companies have had to do throughout the state and probably throughout the nation in other areas where development is. So we would be very cognizant of that, work with them, impose upon them to do what is right for what is needed there, just as we've done with recent development.
Amanda on Facebook, the trash truck ripped the flashing off of half of my garage.
Sometimes
I turned in a
happens.
property damage claim to my insurance and they
Okay.
sent it to the Kokomo Waste months ago.
Okay.
No response. What's up?
Shouldn't send it to Waste, and it might have just not got forwarded accordingly. So she needs to have her insurance company send something or contact Sarah White on the third floor of City Hall, either by email. It'd be S. White, so SWHITE at cityofkokomo.org, or call up 456-7444 and ask for Sarah to get information. That insurance claim should be sent to her to then forward on to our insurance provider.
Caring Lizard 6880 on
Okay.
Facebook. First, we, the community, are wondering how the bank meeting went between Mr. Wyman and Mr. Moore last Monday. Second, what makes Wyman special enough to get into City Hall by 4:15 when the meeting doesn't start until 5:30? Caring Lizard 6880 on Facebook.
I have no idea what meeting with the bank that they're talking about. The only meeting I can think of from last Monday that involved myself and Mr. Wyman were both on the executive committee for the Greater Kokomo Economic Development Alliance, but he wasn't even on that meeting because he was out of town at a conference speaking. But so with him being out of town last Monday, there was no meeting with a bank that I can think of. And City Hall is open at 4 o'clock. Anybody can come in now. I think they've left the council chambers open, even though the meeting doesn't start till 5:30 or so. And folks can come in and say, we've had people come in after 4 o'clock for the last 3 council meetings and even planning commission meetings. So he's not any more special than anybody else. And folks that come in at 4 o'clock and walk right into the council chambers and camp out until the meeting starts.
Okay. Next question is from Patrick on Facebook.
Hey.
It seems like every time I go to our parks, the dog waste bag containers are empty. Is there anything we can do to make sure the waste bags are available to help encourage people pick up after their pets?
Absolutely, yeah. I will follow up with the Parks Department. So we've got employees with the Parks Department that go park to park and even dog park to dog park, checking trash cans and such. And so I will remind them to check the dog waste bags.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Let's take a quick break to talk about our friends over at Affordable Pest Management here in Kokomo.
Yes, sir.
Indiana's trusted choice for residential and commercial pest control, wildlife removal, insulation services, crawl space cleanouts, full home protection. They deliver fast, reliable service with honest pricing and same-day emergency response when you need it most. They handle everything from general pests like ants, spiders, roaches, bedbugs to wildlife issues like involving raccoons, squirrels, bats, and groundhogs. Their team also provides crawl space cleanouts, vapor barrier installation upgrades, gutter cleaning, power washing, holiday light installation, and more,
Right.
protecting your home and business
They do it all.
inside and out. Homeowners, landlords, business owners, and property managers rely on Affordable Pest Management for clear communication, professional inspections, and long-term solutions that save money.
Awesome.
New customers can get 10% off their first service when they heard this ad on this show. Call them today at 765-450-8584 or visit IndianaAPM.com to schedule your service or request a free quote. Shout out Affordable Pest Management for being a partner of the
Thank
show.
you.
Next question is from Nolan on Facebook. When will nets get put out at the tennis and pickleball courts at the parks?
So that was the one that I saw. Yeah. So pickleball courts at Bon Air are out. I mean, they should be out and up. The ones down at Foster Park, I believe the pickleball courts They were waiting for a part that should be in by the end of the week, so those should be up by the end of the week. The new one's out at Cutler because that's freshly laid asphalt or whatever at the end of last year, is still curing, and so they need a handful of days above 50 degrees in order for that asphalt to cure before they can finalize setting the poles and setting the nets. And so the pickleball courts at Cutler, pickleball and tennis at Cutler, probably towards the end of April. But all the others for Foster Park, Bon Air, I forget if there's any others, should be by week's end.
Got it. Alec on Facebook, do you have any plan to push the department who oversees the street light maintenance to repair the intersection at Jefferson and Washington? That intersection is one of the most dangerous driving areas in the city, and all of its stoplights have been out for over a month. It's absolutely ridiculous to have a newly modified streetlight directed intersection become a four-way stop with just one construction sign in the middle of the intersection. Alec on Facebook.
I get it, but the pole arm that was damaged, it's a supply chain deal still. I mean, so we're waiting for that stoplight arm to come in and get installed. So it's probably still a couple weeks out. It is unfortunate. I hate that the same thing happened up at North and Washington with that stoplight arm getting taken out as well. Had the same amount of time at another busy intersection on Washington. But nope. Get it. We appreciate everybody's patience and carefulness as they navigate that intersection until that stoplight pole can come in and get installed.
Funny comment of the day, by the way, is from Kobe. Said, Buddy needs to call Affordable Pest Management about those mutant bats he was inquiring about. That's good.
Perfect.
That's called a callback, Kobe.
Thank you.
Well done. Tiffany on Facebook. Can you paint a Chick-fil-A sign on the road for the interior southern turning lane on 931, turning left onto East Markland? Sort of like they do to navigate 465 exchanges near Indy to tell you what lane to be in. Recently, I saw a car almost cause a wreck because they were in the far left lane, then cut all the way across the lanes to turn into the Markland entrance of Chick-fil-A/Hobby Lobby, causing a truck in the middle, causing a truck in the correct lane to slam on their brakes to prevent hitting the car. Will the company building the convention center be required to fix and repay? Oh, this is a separate question.
Okay.
Question, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Let's see.
So
first
we'll
one,
go there. We'll go there first.
Probably not. I mean, that's NDOT, so state maintained and authority over state 931, and so they would be the ones to do that. We can put that request in, but again, they just do those paintings for interstates, whether you're getting ready to go to 65, 465, and such. But still, even if they did that, if there's a long line and somebody doesn't wait in line because the folks see that and they sneak up on the left side and then try to get back over, I don't think that they would do that, and can't see NDOT or the state agreeing to do that just for one business when there's White Castle, Hobby Lobby, and Staples, and Sam's, and everybody in that way too. I mean, everybody's jockeying for positions. Now, the far left towards the medium, coming both directions, I mean, there's a yellow line, but there's space in there, kind of an escape route if somebody's coming up on somebody. We need to request that they paint some diagonal lines in that, because folks are thinking that's a turn lane and sneaking up in between there too, and that creates havoc. So, but the other one, just talking about
will the company building the convention center be required to fix and repave all or re-brick the road on Union and Main, because those roads are tore up
streets
in almost
and
one
sidewalks
lane due to the construction and holes.
Yep, everything in there will be redone. We're also looking at the possibility of doing sidewalks and paving down in the downtown area as well, with the increased foot traffic from that and baseball coming as well. But yes, that area, even the bridge down on Union and Main as well, will receive some love. So yes, everything will get restored once they're complete or nearing completion.
Okay. Rebecca on Facebook. Southway Boulevard is a high traffic road. Vehicles, pedestrians, and bicycles. Now that we have established that city is willing to pay for land, will the city consider acquiring a right-of-way easement or applying eminent domain to protect the people walking or biking and the drivers from hitting someone? Rebecca on Facebook.
Won't use eminent domain. No interest necessarily in that, but can look at, I know we're getting ready to do Southway, and I don't know if there'll be any I don't think any sidewalks are included in that. And with what we're wanting to do to get that paved sooner than later, it might not have the time or resources to acquire as much easement for, I'm assuming, sidewalks on one or both sides, but something we can look into maybe later as funds permit.
Okay. Tina on Facebook, please clean up the downtown. There is trash within the block of the new convention center on the ground. Also, please get the water pad working downtown in front of the police station. It's pretty sad that you can't find anyone to figure out the code for the working of it after the developer left our city. Just asked you about that.
Yep. So, we are working on the trash downtown. A lot of it carelessness from folks, as well as high winds and such. But our folks do the best they can with that. And as for the fountain, we should have that up and running, hopefully by summertime, or at least by Strawberry Festival. So I think we're in a position to do that.
Cool. Next question is from Derek on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm really curious as to why not all of our stops, most of them don't, have any weather protections for people riding city transit. I've seen disabled elderly people outside in the elements, as well as children. This needs more attention. Derek on Facebook.
Yeah, so a lot of it has to do with easements. I mean, I was just talking about easements along Southway for things. Where a lot of the stops have been identified, some of those areas don't have room for a shelter. The property owners have not given us permission to put a shelter. We're still working through those. We should be adding a couple yet this year, but look for those opportunities either where they are or to reassign some of the stops where that can be. Each one, I think, runs $5,000 to $7,000, and unfortunately, in a handful of them, the plexiglass continues to get busted out. The benches get torn out and taken, and so we're constantly making repairs to those as well. And so sometimes that comes into play. I mean, because obviously if we have a shelter, we like the bench in there, but when it's like,
sure,
whenever something happens in our house, it's like my wife always says, we can't have anything nice. So it's kind of one of those things too.
Okay. Let's give a shout out to our friends over at Kokomo Antique Mall.
Let's do.
If you love the thrill of finding something truly one of a kind, you've got to check out the Kokomo Antique Mall. This isn't just a shop, it's a treasure hunt.
Right.
With over 75 vendors and 3 full floors to explore, it's one of those places where you can wander for an hour and still feel like you've barely scratched the surface. You'll find everything from antiques to vintage decor to furniture, collectibles, home decor, and unique statement pieces you won't see anywhere else. And because it's a multi-vendor mall, the inventory is always changing.
Always.
Meaning every time you visit, there's something new waiting around the corner. Whether you're a collector, a casual browser, or someone looking for that perfect piece for your home, you're bound to leave with something that has a story. They're open Tuesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., and it's the perfect spot to spend an afternoon browsing, treasure hunting, and supporting local vendors all in one place.
Awesome.
Right here in downtown Kokomo. So next time you're downtown, stop by the Kokomo Antique Mall, where every visit feels like a new find. Shout out to Kokomo Antique Mall for being a partner.
Thank you, guys.
At the MTM show. Next question is from Allie on Facebook.
Hey.
How did you get your start in local politics? Did you always see yourself becoming mayor? Do you aspire to run for any other offices? Do you have to live in the city limits to run for mayor? If so, can someone request for voluntary annexation to be eligible if continuous to current city limits? Asking for a friend. Allie on Facebook.
Okay.
A lot of questions.
A lot of questions. So yeah. Hadn't really thought, I guess started getting interested in politics in high school government classes, was involved in student leadership there, a little bit in college as well. But then when I moved back to town after being up in the South Bend and Elkhart area for a number of years, I thought, okay, if home's going to be where I end up, I need to get involved and such. And so I started serving on various committees, Planning Commission, Alcohol and Beverage Commission. I was on the feasibility study for Kokomo Beach. And then opportunity presented itself for the District 2 Commissioner. That being a Board of Commissioners is kind of part-time, so you keep a full-time job and do that. So decided to run for that and was successful, served as commissioner for 11 years, and decided to shift gears after that. Just after a number of years, people saying, hey, why don't you? I'm like, oh, it's a city. Hey, why don't you kind of ask the mayor? And decided to do that. But yes, you have to live in the city limits and be old enough to vote in order to run for mayor. And I suppose if someone wanted to have their property brought into the city limits as opposed to moving and buying something already existing into the city limits, they could probably put in a request just like these property owners have in this recent annexation, and it has to be brought in. I know she put continuous, but as long as you're contiguous to the city limits by a certain percentage, that's typically acceptable or approval.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So those are all the pre-show questions we had. We're going to get into the live show questions, but before we do that, let's give a shout out to our friends over at Berrycom. If you're tired of buffering, spotty connections, or internet that just can't keep up with your house or your business, it's time to switch to Berrycom. Berrycom is a local fiber internet provider providing serving the Kokomo area, bringing fast, reliable internet to the people who actually live and work here. Fiber means a stronger, more consistent connection for everything that you do. Streaming, gaming, working from home, or video calls, running a business, all of it. And here's the best part. You're not calling some faraway help desk. With Berrycom, you're working with a local team that understands the community and shows up for it. Upgrade your connection and keep your day moving forward with Berrycom. Fiber internet built for Kokomo.
Nice.
Michelle on live chat.
Hey.
What is happening at the old Delco plant on Lincoln and 31?
There has been a little flutter of activity. I'm not sure. I mean, GM Components still owns the buildings on that site, and so don't know if they're cleaning things out, if they're downsizing, if they're, I mean, just what city's not involved in that. It's not part of a code enforcement action or anything. So not sure what or which building they may be talking about. And it'd be great if one of those buildings, if they're making room for another aspect of their manufacturing to come in, which could be the case, or even like renovating something, making it accommodating for maybe a tenant similar to what they did on the north side with Green Cubes a number of years ago. So it'd be great if that's what it is, if they're kind of getting things set up for a new
People's spidey senses start coming up when they see activity over there. Kim on live chat. I live in the Indiana Heights neighborhood. We have cars speeding on a daily basis. We have kids riding mini bikes and dirt bikes and four-wheelers in the streets and down the sidewalks. We don't see normal patrols out here. Can we get some speed bumps? It is 30 miles per hour and people are driving up to 50 miles per hour or more. It's becoming a very dangerous situation. Kim on live chat.
Yeah, speed bumps may depend on where. I know that engineering department has worked on a speed bump policy, so if they have an area where they would want one, contact the engineering department and put in a request for consideration. They look at traffic counts and such, but if it's kind of on a curve, if somebody would hit that and lose control, then they're veering off into somebody's front yard and such, which could create issues. But we try to get patrols out as best we can and when we can. But a lot of times, just like all areas of the city, it's a timing thing, being at the right place at the right time to catch those as they come through, or if somebody phones it in and reports it in, we get out there and they're already done or elsewhere, it creates an issue. But we can definitely look at trying to get some of our patrols out there on a more regular basis, especially as it starts to get nicer outside.
Sure. Andrew on live chat. When are you going to get enough police and fire to cover what Kokomo already covers? I think this is the best to have the area that cover plus some before making the city bigger. I'm asking only because we see in the chat the Heights is having problems. As you can see chronologically, and with not enough police. If you follow the Heights Facebook page daily, people talk about problems. Andrew on live chat.
Yeah, I mean, we're working on it. I mean, I know that, and we've gotten criticized for this too. You can't keep blaming the previous administration. Well, I mean, they went both departments on a hiring freeze for well over 10 years, and so a lot of those. I mean, yes, there's a few fire and police that are transferring to other departments in other cities, but for the most part, they're either retiring or leaving, due to injuries or health reasons and such. But we've hired a little over 60 police officers and almost 50 firefighters in the 6 years that we've been in. We've been trying to play catch up. We're doing the best we can with recruitment efforts and such, and so we're slowly making progress to that. But I think what we've got now is doing a great job covering. I know I said comments at Heights. I mean, again, it's a timing thing. I mean, we can't be at in every place at once, but do the best they can to try and deter what they can and where they can. It's a big city.
Carolyn, I'm not sure, sorry, on live chat, there is a company 2 hours south of Kokomo that was asked to bid for concrete in Kokomo for a data center.
Oh,
it is a data center, and that is where our concern is.
Okay.
Have you researched them? Not sure if she's referring to data centers as a whole or if she's referring to the concrete company 2 hours south of Kokomo.
Don't know anything about that or who the concrete company is, and she can email that and we can look into it, I suppose, mayor@cityofkokomo.org. But yeah, I mean, with all the buzz on data centers, I mean, yeah, we've looked at on the different sizes. As I mentioned early on in the show, there's different sizes of data centers, and a lot of them are campuses that have multiple buildings and such. A lot of the technology has changed in the last 10 to 5 years, where they're doing, closed loop cooling systems and such, and recycling their own water and such. And so the water usage, I mean, so yes, we're looking into those. We're looking into the possible tax advantage on assessed values and property tax revenues that would come in with those as well. But yeah, I mean, there's been a handful of the council members as well that have reached out to experts that in water locally to get their take on even using geothermal to help cool, which is a kind of an interesting concept. Using the earth to cool the water and just, again, closed loop type of thing. I mean, so yeah, we're definitely looking at that. But as if there's companies being contacted for work up here for the construction of a data center, I don't know the names of them or have been involved with any of that, because that's apparently been with the developers themselves or the property owners.
Ryan on live chat, what are the chances we can get a job openings and fill out our applications for said jobs put online for the city and county, including police and fire? Website needs updated / revamped as well. He's got a few questions, so we'll start there.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we're always looking for ways to do that. I know because there's additional information that's required with applications, usually a driver's license and such. There's concerns with those being protected and coming in and being emailed online as opposed to someone actually physically bringing that in. But we can definitely look at that. It's something that I've mentioned, and hopefully will, as software continues to get tightened up, security-wise, to where HR department and the legal department, have a comfort level with that. We can look towards that. If he's got suggestions on the website, always looking for ideas on that, on how to better navigate or to better inform with that, but always looking for suggestions with the website too.
Can we have a plan to pave over the railroad tracks at 17th Street in East Vale, for example, since they are no longer in use? If we can't, can we start holding the railroad company more accountable?
We've tried, I mean, not just the city of Kokomo, I mean, not just my administration, but administrations prior have tried that. But railroad companies, they still believe railroad is king. And so there's not a lot of not a lot of success in that, and continuing to spend legal fees trying to get the railroad company. I mean, now, a lot of times they will allow us to pave over it and such, which we've done at Boulevard, we've done at Center Road and such, and so there at 17th Street and Vale, we can look at that one. I know there's one up on the north end near Berryman Park, just off of Main Street. I think Elm, I think, is that one that we are looking at possibly doing as well. So, always a possibility, but we run the risk too of being threatened by the railroad companies with legal action.
Yeah, because that's been talked about a lot on this show over the years. And Ryan, what's crazy is technically, from what you've told me over the years, there is no railroad tracks that are no longer in use, because those railroad companies at any moment could be like, nope, we're going to start using them again. So there are
a few that are no longer in some that are abandoned.
Yeah.
But if they're inactive, that just, I mean, which means there's no train. It doesn't look like there's going to be, but like you said, they keep saying there could be a chance we could turn
them back on. And like the craziest one to me is the one just right downtown at like Buckeye and Sycamore, right? And like we've had issues with it for forever, because we patch it, but then it's just still not great. They could turn that sucker on whenever they want. You know, it's a weird, honestly, doing the show for as many years as we have, that is one of the easily the weirdest realities I've
crazy thing about that, the line you're talking about that runs downtown along Buckeye and across the trestle past the train station down along Home Avenue towards the American Legion, from downtown out to even around Kokomo Green. I think that line is owned by 3 different rail companies. And how that's just, I mean, how that's happened through the years is nuts. And so we're working with one. Hopefully we can get, if we secure that rail line, then that could very easily make some of the others not inactive, but be classified as abandoned, that we can work with those rail companies as well. So
it's just like they own that part of the real estate of the road. Everything else is the city. It's crazy. Before we finish up here with the last few questions, talk about our friends over at Wolf's Smokehouse Barbecue. If you're craving real barbecue, the kind that takes time, care, and serious smoke, then you have to check out Wolf's Smokehouse. Can I real quick just explain how my brain works? And sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's not. I literally saw the screen over there when I pushed their ad. I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if like smoke came out and like it was all smoky in here. I'm like, wait a minute. People will take screenshots of that and then they'll think like there is smoke in this room, and it might be a certain type of smoke that will not make us look responsible or legal. So I will not be adding smoke to this ad. Wolf Smokehouse is a locally owned smokehouse and barbecue shack at 502 North Main Street in Kokomo, and they're doing things the old school way. They use fresh, never frozen meat, and they don't rush the process. Their smokers are rolling from open to close because their tagline is, "We smoke all day."
All day.
That would be bad. I'm really glad we're not moving forward with that. And it's not just their tagline, it's a promise. On the menu, you'll find everything barbecue lovers dream about: tender brisket, juicy chicken, savory sausage, fall off the bone ribs, and classic smoked bologna, all packed with flavor and smoked low and slow. Wolf's has a delicious signature sides, and they even offer catering so you can bring the smoke to your next party or work lunch. Here's the only warning, because everything is made fresh daily. Wolf's is known for one very real thing: they sell out every single day. When it's gone, it is gone. They are open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. So do yourself a favor and get there early. Wolf Smokehouse, they smoke all day. Jimmy on live chat, wouldn't you want to know what the developer is going to build before annexing the land? Why annex the land, then find out what they are building after the fact? Just doesn't make sense. Jimmy on live chat.
Well, I mean, with it being annexed, I mean, if it's outside of the city, I mean, we wouldn't have any control over that. So with what's coming in, they still have to submit a development plan. And so guidelines can be put in place. I talked about earlier when they're talking about, the residents that are close by. I mean, we can put distance standards from roads and from residents and such. I mean, so there's more control over what is being planned. I mean, just because something's zoned a particular way, I mean, they still have to get their development plan approved, and so there's that potential and an opportunity then to although there may be talking, there's nothing that has been submitted, and so there's a greater chance that the city can get involved and control what and how things get developed in there. So that could be the benefit.
Okay. Shannon on live chat. Any plans on fixing the horrible roads inside the Heights? I've had to send in several notices of major car damaging size potholes. However, it's the same ones that end up needing filled multiple times a season. I recommend taking a drive out here one day to see how badly they are.
I was just out there last week. Was out reading to first grade class out at Taylor Elementary, and I did see the conditions of a lot of those. I know we've got a few of the streets paved last year, got some, I think, on the hopper this year. So yeah, we just continue to get to areas that we can while spreading the love throughout the city. But we'll continue to work our way down through there and see how much we can do. It'd be great if we had millions, and I mean, I think when I talked to the engineer, we'd need like $35 million to give the Indian Heights a total overhaul. So I'm just going to have to piecemeal it as we go, just like we do throughout the rest of the city. But I get it. Was out there.
Okay. Elaine on live chat. Gas station on East Taylor and Apperson put new sign out, and it makes turning into Apperson difficult. It really needs to be moved. Who do I contact concerning its placement?
Planning Commission. So they have a sign enforcement officer that can go out and take a look at that to make sure that, because if signs go up, we're supposed to have gotten a permit for that. So she said the gas station at East Taylor and Apperson.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
That's what she said.
Yep. I'll look into that too. It's probably right there on that, if it's that one, I think, close to the curve. So, yeah, we can have somebody go out and check that out. But yeah, if she wants to call directly, I know the office is closed now, she can leave a message. But the Planning Commission, and ask for the sign enforcement officer to go out and check that out and see if it's in violation or if they even filed a permit for it.
Okay. Charles on live chat. Is there going to be a data center, or is this for a battery plant? What's the goal for this annexed land? Welcome to the party, Charles.
Yeah, industrial park. Hopefully not a battery plant, because we've got a battery plant doing all kinds of battery storage products. The plan and hope for this area, I mean, yes, there's probably a data center sniffing around wanting to end up there as well, and it sounds like somebody has a friend who's got a bid out for concrete for it and such. But ideally, other type of investment and development in there that provides varying jobs, whether it's in manufacturing or research and development or different skill levels and such. But that is the hope and the plan, that if we create an area that is zoned for industrial purposes, that we get a handful of investment out there to create different diversity, as opposed to a single or one or two. It'd have to be two, because it's on both sides of the bypass, end users.
Got it. Todd on live chat. Is there any possibility that Kokomo could offer a service to wash/sanitize our city curbside trash cans, maybe quarterly? It would help cut down on the smell and filth. It might also even help to ensure the maintenance of the cans are noticed. Are there so many broken lids, which allows trash to go flying everywhere on windy days? Todd on live chat.
Yep. Ironic that he would ask that. We have looked into a couple different companies that do that, have a pull behind type of facility that washes cans and such, and so that could very well become a reality. Maybe not this year. Something that, as we look into, have to work into the budget, but is definitely something we're looking into. Great question.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of, that's like a new industry in general, just like a private industry where they have like these giant trucks and they put them on there and they spray them down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love it.
Tiffany on live chat. What's the status of the upgrades to the new to the sewage plant? Lately, it's been really smelly driving through that part of Markland, and I feel bad for the kids who have to play soccer next door to it. Builds character. Are there upgrades going to fix that issue? Obviously, it will never smell the sweetest,
right?
But it's never been this pungent driving by there. Tiffany on live chat.
Yeah, I grew up over on Westdale Court, which is across the field, and it was that way growing up. I mean, ironically, The type of sludge that Kokomo creates, and this is coming from Merrill Brothers, who is partnering with the city in regards to an initiative there at the wastewater treatment plant to pelletize the sludge. But our sludge is a Class B or a Type B versus Type A or Class A.
There's different types of sludge?
And as much as we think our
Wow.
crap doesn't smell, it does. And so it got to the point that what they were receiving from Kokomo was not acceptable, and it was going to eventually end up into a dump, which was be more cost prohibitive, as well as not good for the environment. And so that's why we're working with them with this. But it's different processes that occur in breaking those down, and sometimes if there's not been a lot of water and such through that process, it can create more of a pungent smell at times versus another, and so it just ebbs and flows, and it has for decades. So.
Steve on live chat, does the city have a community calendar to inform citizens and visitors of activities happening in Kokomo?
We've got a link to the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and they have the calendar on theirs. I mean, the city website has a calendar. It doesn't have all the activities on it. It's mainly just the public meetings for city boards and commissions. But there is a link, and the best is to go to the Greater Kokomo Economic Development. I mean, their Convention and Visitors Bureau website that has a community calendar that has all the events, summer concerts, different fundraisers and such that are reported to them on it. So that would be the best.
Okay. Michael on live chat. When the heck is Deffenbaugh going to reopen?
I know, right? Soon. They did get the bridge. So Haynes was required to replace the bridge there. And you think, oh, wait, there wasn't a bridge there, because they had created that underpass between their facilities. That was considered a bridge. County maintains or inspects it, not maintains it, but inspects it. They were required to reconstruct it. It's done now, but waiting for the asphalt plant to open. So again, that's going to be the first week or so in April. It's a little higher than what plans had anticipated. So now they're looking at safety measures on the east and west side of that, both at the residence on the west side and the employee parking on the east side, and what safety measures need to go in place there. But hopefully by the end of April, first part of May, should have things together.
Last question today. Stacy on live chat. Can Kokomo build more apartments that are we need more apartment buildings for low income people. There is a waiting list over a year when you need a place to live now. That goes by how much you make. So maybe some like lower income apartment options.
Yeah. So and a lot of this is what she's talking about, I think specifically are through the housing authority. And yes, there's a waiting list for availability. Because the Gateway Gardens or Garden Square Apartments, whatever, over on Hoffer, even though there's close to 150 units, they're only at half capacity because of the conditions of a lot of those, and so unfortunately those aren't available. They were working with a developer to take those number of units scattered throughout the city and make those available. They're slow rolling that. Don't know what has happened to that developer. They've kind of gone radio silent, and so for the time being, we're still at a loss there. Now there are apartment complexes that can make a certain percentage of their apartments or units affordable. Well, Section 8, which are available to be used with vouchers, and they get certain tax credits from the state in order to do so. So there may be a handful of those that are in construction now or in development now that may have an aspect of that. And so we're probably maybe 12 to 18 months out before getting more units online and available that might be able to qualify for that. So
Love it.
Working on it.
All right. Well, those are the questions we had today. So
Okay.
thank you guys for sending those in. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, as always, for answering them.
Thanks for having us.
If you have any questions and maybe you're watching this as a replay or watching it later, leave it in the chat. We'll go through next week and pull those questions over for next week's show. Do you have a dad joke for us today?
Man, I'm getting a little hungry and kind of got a hankering for some cheese. You know what my favorite cheese is? I call it.
There's so many.
I know, but I call it emergency cheese.
Emergency
cheese. Yeah, because I want it just in queso.
That was good because queso is cheese soup.
Cheese soup.
You just dip the. Man, now Mexican food sounds good. Thanks for watching this episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post, partnered with Robert Miller and Son Furniture. Stay safe out there, Kokomo. I don't know if it's going to be 90 tomorrow or, in the teens.
Right.
Bring a coat, bring a suit for swimming.
Keep an umbrella in the car.
Be prepared.
That's right.
We'll see you next week, Kokomo. Have a good one.
See you, Kokomo.